And our first story, Finance Minister Tepe will today present a mid-year budget review and a supplementary budget to Parliament. The document is expected to give a breakdown on various timelines for implementing some targets set out in the 2015-2016 budget, while also presenting an outlook of next year's estimates. By this, Tepe will present government's performance on the achievement of key macroeconomic indicators such as inflation, debt consolidation, interest rates, and employment rates. In addition, the budget will also indicate some key economic areas in preparation of the 2017 to 2019 budget. As part of the targets that would be assessed, government was expected to commence negotiating with organized labor on salaries for 2017 in April this year. The move was to ensure that government does not go into 2017 with any expenditure that is not approved by Parliament. Being also an election year, the budget is expected to also capture clearly how government intends to cut down on unplanned expenditure to prevent budget overruns like having been witnessed in previous election years. Mr. Tepe will also be expected to demonstrate how government plans to end the current power crisis, which has now resurrected in recent times. Up north, the Casa Dam at Simiese in the Bulsa North District of the Upper East region has dried up after a portion of its bank collapsed following the recent downpour that led to serious floods in the area. One other dam at Bulsa is also on the verge of collapse. Residents currently are counting their losses days after the floods and even as more rains continue to fall.
The Casa Dam is a major source of water for farming and for animals to drink. The dam serves Simiese and other communities in the Casa town, but has now dried up after its banks collapsed following a downpour that started last Wednesday dawn. The remaining water continues to travel out of the dam through the collapsed portion of its bank into open community lands, with residents looking on helplessly. Another dam at Bulsa community is on the verge of collapse as its bank is gradually giving way to the impact of the flood waters. Assemblyman for the area says if the dams are not repaired in time, it would affect dry season farming in the area. Member of Parliament for the area, James Agalga, together with the Upper East Regional Minister, Albert Abongo, the DCE for Bulsa North and NADMO officials toured the affected areas. The tour revealed that several communities remain cut off from the rest of Bulsa North District and many trunk roads have also been destroyed. District Chief Executive for Bulsa North, Bonaventure Adangabi, said the destruction caused by the floods was enormous.
About 52 acres of rice has been washed away and most of our farmers have been affected as a result. As of now, because this road is destroyed, teachers cannot cross to the other side, children too cannot cross to school.
Member of Parliament for Bulsa North and Deputy Interior Minister James Agalga told journalists the government would take interim measures to reduce the impact of the floods.
We have to immediately, as a temporary measure, fill in some of the holes that have been created here to make the road passable. I know in the wet season we can't do much. We'll just do some intervention to make the roads passable.
Upper East Regional Minister Albert Abongo donated some items including mattresses, foodstuff and mosquito nets to the Bulsa North District Assembly for our distribution to the flood victims.
Authorities at the Whole Community Development Vocational Institute in the Volta region are lamenting over the absence of requisite educational facilities at the institution. The phenomenon, they say, makes vocational training in the school ineffective. Well, headmistress of the school, Perfect Fia Kwajo, tells Joy News that the management of the institution is still striving to deliver on its mandate despite the many challenges it's facing. Fred Kwame Sari has a lot more in the next report.
Whole Community Development Vocational Institute was established in 1965 with the sole aim of training girls in different vocations. The institution has so trained over 1,000 trainees who are contributing to the country's socio-economic development. However, the institution has seen less infrastructure development since its establishment. Government constructed this 2-story classroom block to enable the institution move from its incubator site to the permanent site in 1996. Since then, according to authorities, government has stopped allocating subventions to the institution. This, they say, has crippled the day-to-day administration of the institution. The construction of a 2-story, 3-unit classroom block financed by the Institute's internally generated fund has since been left at the footing level due to lack of funds. Construction works have also stalled on a dining hall facility. The headmistress of the school, Perfect Fiakwajo, observed that even the institution struggles to pay its utility bills.
The school is open, very open, and we are training girls here. Sometimes we'll be in class and people will be driving through, riding motor through, noise everywhere. And so if the place is fenced for us, I'm sure those things will be curtailed and we'll have a conducive environment for us to train our girls. Also now we are paying our water bill. Government says every institution should pay water bill. And this water bill that is coming is very huge. I won't lie to you. And so if we get help with borehole, we'll be happy. Our problems are so much, very enormous. I cannot say all, but the most important ones are the facilities that we need, more classrooms. That is why when you look behind the kitchen, you will see that we started with a structure. Our intention as a school is to build 3 units, 1-story classroom block. But because we lack funds, it ended at the footing level. We are not able to complete it. So if anybody comes to our aid and help us with that, I am sure that the issue of us not separating the girls will be resolved. Enough. We have 2 categories of people that we train here. Those who have been to school before and those who haven't been at all. We take them all on. We are offering skill training, so anybody at all, we take them on. But because the facilities are not enough, the classrooms are not enough, we put these 2 categories in the same classroom, and so you can imagine how training will be like. So while some are understanding, others are not, and so you must come down to the level of everybody, and so it is not making teaching and learning very effective.
The school authorities and students are therefore pleading with government to come to the school's aid to enhance teaching and learning. Fred Kwame Asari's report for Joy News.
The Mental Health Society of Ghana is discouraging traditional leaders from torturing and abusing mental health patients under the guise of administering treatment. The society explained that such practices dehumanize and also offend the fundamental human rights of these individuals. At an outreach program to reach out to people with mental needs at Trifo-Praso in the Central Region, the Executive Secretary of the Mental Health Society of Ghana, Humphrey Kofi, called for a careful approach in treating mental health patients, according to them, so that it also ensures the needed respect and dignity that will be accorded them. Richard Kojunyako has a lot more.
In the rural parts of the country is a growing number of people with mental health needs. A lot of these people are unable to access basic mental health care because of the distance between where they are located and the psychiatric hospitals. This leaves them in the hands of churches and other traditional healers. Many are flogged, chained and tortured by some traditional healers in their bid to heal them. The Mental Health Society of Ghana and Basic Needs, an NGO, are displeased with the inhumane treatment meted out to such persons. Executive Secretary of the Mental Health Society of Ghana, Humphrey Kofi, wants such practices stopped.
We see people being chained, people being forced to fast against their will, their rights. We see people in shackles, we see people who are flogged. This is something that the mental health law frowns upon. So we, under the DFID project that we do together with Basic Needs, we we are still educating the traditional healers, because no matter what you do, a typical Ghanaian African will consult a traditional healer or a faith-based organization when there is any mental disorder within with a person within the family. Even educated people would come back after orthodox treatment to come and check whether there was a spiritual undertone. So it is a typical thing, a typical traditional dynamics that we have to confront with. And so we educating the traditional healers to be able to manage these people within the rights that they have, so that we treat him like any other person. Don't put him in shackles. If you have to even force an aggressive person to either listen to you, for you to pray for him, what we are saying is that apply the orthodox medicine, get the community psychiatric medicine, to apply sedatives that will get an aggressive patient to be calm. If it's prayer, then you can pray for the person. You don't flog the person, you don't hit the person, you don't use whips around them, because it's a typical violation. And that's what the mental health law is frowning against.
Basic Needs, an NGO, is championing community-based integrated mental health care services that ensure that quality medical and psychological treatment is provided to a majority of persons needing the services. The organization operates a livelihood module that works to improve individual and family income in a way that directly incorporates the participation and contribution of people with mental illness or epilepsy in livelihoods activities. Beneficiaries are supported with livelihood skills training, tools and equipment, and in several cases financial credit to undertake various sustainable income activities.
In other news, the Paramount Chief of Trifohimai Traditional Area, Otumfuo Amoasasaku III, is faulting the Attorney General's Department for the tension that is currently simmering in its traditional area. According to the chief, the Attorney General's politicization and deliberate delays in a case in which the MPP's parliamentary candidate for Himai Lower Denchra, Bright Rekudrobe, is standing trial for aiding and abetting the theft of 1,200 bags of fertilizer is dividing its traditional area. At a news conference at Trifohimai, the chief called on the Attorney General to ensure that justice was served properly, devoid of malice, to avert a potential conflict in his community.
The case in which the MPP's parliamentary candidate for Trifohimai Lower Denchra, Bright Rekudrobe, is alleged to have aided and abetted the stealing of 1,201 bags of fertilizers for his primaries, which he eventually won, surfaced at the Cape Coast Circuit Court June 2015. Since then, the case has suffered several adjournments, which the chief says is the handiwork of the Attorney General's Department. The Paramount Chief of the Trifohimai Traditional Area, Otumfuo Amoasasaku III, whose jurisdiction the constituency falls, says there are several agitations already and tension in the constituency has begun rising. According to the chief, when justice is stifled and an unfair playing ground is created in any competition, the end result is violence.
Justice delayed is justice denied, as they say. The safety of this year's election cannot be guaranteed if the lots of injustice in the country continue to exist. As a traditional council, many concerns that have come to us is about how the circuit court has gradually delayed this alleged fertilizer case. In my candid opinion, one would have thought that this election-related case pending in the law court might have come to its finality by now. This has not been possible due to the deliberate delay from the Attorney General's Department. This deliberate delay from the Attorney General has gradually become a source of worry to the supporters of the candidates in question. The source of the worry has been from statements by some members and executives of the ruling government that they shall collaborate with the AG to delay the case till the Electoral Commission closes the nomination. Honorable Minister.
The chief is appealing to the Attorney General to be as neutral as possible and expedite action to bring finality on the election-related case that is threatening his traditional area. Richard Kojonyako, Joy News, Trifohimai.
About $272 million went down the drain in power distribution in 2015 alone. This was from the loss of about 32% of electricity generated that same year. The Africa Center for Energy Policy, ASAP, revealed this to Joy Business at the Tamale edition of its Citizen Agenda for Energy Development, which seeks to collate public views on the energy sector to serve as a guide for successive governments. According to the head of policy unit of ASAP, Dr. Ishmalaka, the losses could have been used to address at least 80% of the country's challenges with power.
If 1% costs $8.5 million, and we are talking about 32, that is very huge money ECG can use for investment. But we can even use it to procure fuel from Nigeria. We heard that we owe Nigeria $197 million as at now. Because of that, they are not supplying gas to Ghana for 2 months. I mean, if we're able to convert our losses into finances, can we be able to solve it? We can pay some of these things. The first one is what we call illegal connection. Those who use power and they don't pay. So even though it is distributed, we don't get any value from it. The second is obsolete equipment. Some of these machines we have were built in the 70s, which because of lack of finances, we've not been able to replace or work on them. So they leak and it affects us. The next one is government consumption of power, which the government does not pay. So government agencies and bungalows and all public bungalows, they consume power without paying. So all these things contribute to the higher distributional losses.
And that'll be it for the news, but we have a couple of your messages, and many of them related to the stories, especially one we will take from Bulsa South District. And it says, good morning, Mama V and Roland. We in the Bulsa South District, especially in Fumbesi, are demanding for prayers for God to save us from the floodings. It's been raining non-stop for the past 4 days, and that's from Bambakia Samed, a regular texter to our show. We say we'll try and see what can be done, but of course the prayers will also be going out to you. 4 days of rain is as much as you can get in a community. We also have this one. We also have this one from Nantongma Mahamadu. You're saying a very good morning to all people, but especially Mahama must go because Ghanaians have decided that they need change. We have from Marcus Mate, and you are paying tribute to the former president of the Republic of Ghana, who has passed on, Professor John Evans Atamil. He says, for Atamil so loved Ghana that he gave his only begotten son Mahama. So whosoever vote for him will not get light, but have everlasting doom. So don't laugh alone. Send it to your friends. And that's from Marcus Mate from Aflau. Well, we'll have to take a break. When we come back, we'll be looking at what stories there are front back page of the newspapers. Then we'll also target you with some online portals, but more importantly, we'll still want you to bring in a lot more of your text messages. And through this very number on WhatsApp, we have 0560 800,000. You can reach us, but please make sure that you log on to our YouTube channel, because currently we're streaming live on that very channel, and the channel's name is Mahjong Online. We're taking a break. When we come back, Mama V and I will be looking at the newspapers. Just stay on.